In the last video, I was talking about my favorite comic book artist and writer, John Byrne, and I kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent, be a rant about missed opportunities with the seeds he was planting in the Superman mythos, after he did the Superman reboot in 1986 with the Man of Steel series. So, and I think thank you, Daisy. Like many authors, especially indie authors, with the beauty of self-publishing platforms like Amazon and Draft 2 Digital, you can do whatever you want with your own universe that you're creating. My plan is to have basically a shared universe where there's direct sequels, indirect sequels, side quills, but it's all going to be happening in the same universe. Since I recently did a video of John Byrne, my favorite comic book artist and writer, and what he did with Superman in 1986, rebooting him and planting seeds for the future, one of those being his power change, I also feel like there was a missed opportunity there. I know it's easy to be an armchair quarterback and say that the writers and editors at DC should have done this, but there's a lot of things I think wouldn't have happened if John Byrne did not have a parting of ways with DC Comics. One of those is, I don't think there ever would have been a death of Superman while he was at the helm. But once the Triangle era started, and they had 4 different writers as well as a couple of different artists, and it was a very cohesive way of telling Superman stories. It was a great time in the 90s when they started doing that. I think there was a real missed opportunity, and that was with the reign of the Superman. Because, spoiler, after Superman died, quote unquote, 4 Supermen came back, made sense. There were 4 different titles, there were 4 different Supermen. And it would have been fantastic for the return of the real Superman to be in their back pocket, but they just keep the 4 Supermen in the expanded DC universe. For years, that could have gone on, and I think that would have been incredibly, ballsy, brave for them to do. They could have they could have prolonged this for years and years and years, and maybe it could have become a cohesive, regular part of the DC universe. Superboy joining the Titans, even though he tried to join the Justice League because, he considers himself the real Superman. And then there's the Eradicator, the last son of Krypton, who is basically the Punisher with Superman's powers. The Cyborg Superman, they had an issue where the president at the time, Bill Clinton, said this was the real Superman. So officially, as far as anyone who would have considered his word good, would have taken the Cyborg Superman as the real one returned. And maybe he would have been the one to join the Justice League. And in the background, on the street level, is Steel, John Henry Irons, who basically has the spirit of Superman, who just does everything as he would. Heroic, selfless, just has this innate sense of right and wrong. And that could have gone on for, it could have gone on indefinitely until they came up with an appropriate storyline to bring the original Superman back. I think that was a missed opportunity for ongoing storytelling, especially since they wanted people to buy as many DC comics as possible. A missed opportunity. I think they did pretty well, making the storyline go on for about 6 months after the funeral for a friend. But maybe it's one of those things that DC could always make a separate title for, or a separate timeline for, as they did with the Elseworlds. Just dial it right back to 1991 or 2 and just have the 4 Supermen. As Alan Moore would say, it's an imaginary tale, but aren't they all? That's my take on missed opportunities in one of my favorite mediums, comic books, but also basically gratitude I have that there's an opportunity for people to be as immersive with their own creative universes as they want to. In the meantime, like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're seeing or hearing this. Gonna finish your nap, Daisy? Also visit my Substack at Bramblewood After Dark. I have to go see what the dogs are barking at now.